Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Train Simulator Classic, aka Railworks. And today we're going to be taking a look at a new route, as well as the rolling stock that is included with it. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat short and sweet while still giving a honest review, as I normally do. But it's been a hot minute since I did a route review. There hasn't really been anything that's caught my interest enough to really go out of my way for a new route review. Route reviews typically take me a lot more time. But then again, I typically don't go over brand new routes either. So this is a brand spanking new route that just came out. And I'm going to pull up the DLC page because I'll butcher it like nobody's business. But this is the Brockenbahn Wernigerode Brocken route add-on. Obviously done by Wagon Works Stat. From what I can gather, this is a narrow gauge railroad in, where was it? East Germany, I believe. Yeah, so it's a narrow gauge railway in Germany, the Harz mountain range of Germany. And the railroad is one of 3 tourist meter gauge railways with the Harz Railway and the Silk Valley Railway. So this is more or less a scenic heritage railroad. It's about 30 some odd kilometers of route included, as well as some very nice classic motive power. So you guys can see why it would catch my interest. Got some nice new shiny toys to play with. Well, maybe not so shiny, but So that's pretty much the gist of it. What the line is, I have no idea, but that's the gist of it. So we're going to take a peek at it. Maybe do a little bit of running up and down. See what there is to see. But it is a mountain route, so I would imagine many of the grades are probably extremely challenging. We got a heck of a power to play with it. So this is the BR99... what is it, like BR99 point 23 through 24. It's a 210-2 tank locomotive, which is, in and of itself is a very odd sight in Train Simulator. 10 coupled drivers in TSC are like unheard of. I know G-Trax did a locomotive a long time ago for the Pennsylvania route. And of course we got the 9F Evening Star, but other than that, we really don't have many 10 couple driver locomotives. The BR50s and 52s, which I have done videos over. So something a little bit different for us. And then of course matching rolling stock to go with it. So we got a baggage car. It's right here. It's got kind of a little small seating area as well as a baggage area compartment. And then we'll get, I have no idea if there's necessarily a different class to each of these cars. However, these are 2 different cars, as you can tell by the windows. I can't pronounce what they are. I'm not going to try to butcher it. Just know that you get them. But one's kind of got these large, very scenic viewing windows, while these others have more of a classic build to them. So, let's start from the rear, work our way forward. So right off the bat, we'll look at this coach right here. Now, this is a first view for me. I actually just purchased this. I have not run it. I've fiddled with it. Haven't played around with it. This is quite literally my first time checking it out. So, it's going to be about as honest as it gets. And right off the bat, the cars actually look pretty decent. Our end tags here like to disappear if we get to the wrong distance. But overall, they actually look pretty decent. Nice legible words for those of you that speak, I assume, German. I did not get that far, unfortunately. Nice legible words, and the overall shape is pretty decent. I don't know if the roof is supposed to overhang like it does, but it does just a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the weathering. I've said it plenty of times. I don't think weathering really looks good in Train Simulator. It's not something that plays very well with the game. So the weathering is kind of corny. It's very low res looking, in my opinion. But that's interesting. I don't know what that is. Something conflicting right there. But overall, the detail is actually pretty nice. The actual physical object is nice. The car itself is pretty nice. It is pretty cool. Between the cars, it'll add these kind of little guide rails as well as a platform to walk across between the cars. Of course, throwing up these markers on the end for the very last car. So that's kind of a neat thing. But yeah, overall the cars look pretty darn good. That's really my only complaint with them thus far. I don't like the weathering on them. I'm not a fan. But that's just me. Weathering doesn't float my boat. So let's hop inside here. Inside, they look to be fairly simple cars. Unfortunately, the roof lights are not lit. And the ends seem kind of bright. So pretty much the same in the inside of those two. And then, of course, the part that everybody wants to see, the locomotive. The monstrosity. And it's pretty much the same story. I'm not a big fan of the weathering. Doesn't float my boat. But other than that, it honestly looks pretty good. Now, I am an American. I have never been overseas. So, obviously, I've never heard this thing in person. I have no idea what they sound like. So, couldn't tell you if this is normal or not as it's idling. But, just as it sits, it's a pretty darn good looking locomotive. It looks fairly simple, basic overall. I definitely wouldn't put it up to the quality of something like the Forge simulations or maybe Caledonia Works, Machine Rail. I wouldn't put it up to quite their standards, model specific builders. But for a new locomotive that's specific to a route, it actually doesn't look half bad. And for those of you that are into Russian railroading, a couple of these ended up going and being built for Russia. What happened to them is still unknown to this day, but cool little bit of history there. Handful of these ended up in Russia. But overall, they look pretty decent. The steam that's popping off here, I don't like it. It's so very noticeably square. Square cotton balls. The exhaust steam is pretty typical, just about everything. The exhaust smoke overall looks pretty good. At the very top, it just kind of puffs away, disappears. So I think it could be blurred a little bit better. But at the base and down here, it actually looks really good. Overall, it's really quite nice. Let's go ahead and click on it. It's an odd wobble. And we'll go ahead and pull up our map here so we can kind of see. So right now we're sitting at Brocken. This is the end of the line in one direction. And as you can see, we kind of go down the mountain here. Boogie on, boogie down. Different points along the line that are noted, as well as scout whistle marks. Whether or not AI will actually blow a whistle there, no idea, but shark. Your first station, leaving Brocken, and then Dryanan, which looks like it's got a little bit of an extra. Go off in a different direction. Very nice windy route though. Very windy. And of course your locomotive shops, your shed, workshop and whatnot is going to be down here in Wernigerode. We're going to call it Werny. But yeah, all of your workshops, your sheds, stores and whatnot, it's going to be all out here. Which I'll probably end up going into the editor and boogieing all the way over here just to take a view, because we just don't have the time to run end to end. But let's hop into the cab of our locomotive here. So the cab, first impression, yeah, it's not the worst that I've ever seen, but it is pretty meh, kind of low res. The cab's very angular, which I'm noticing a lot around the locomotive. Kind of in general, it's very angular. The wheels are very angular. It's, interestingly enough, slowly sliding backwards. Even our pumps in here are very angular, very not round. It's not so noticeable on the large objects, but like this is very round. Yet somehow this is not. Drive wheels are noticeably angled. Cab roof. Oh well. Headlights. Go ahead and click that on. That one doesn't work. Actually, you know what? It's probably got to crank up the generator first. Maneuvering light, instrument lights, cab lights, engine lights. We'll just go ahead and turn all those for now. And then when we get to where we're looking, generator. There we go. Which makes no noise. The lighting actually looks pretty good. Actually, quite like the lighting. It's a nice yellow glow. Not an obnoxious white glare. So, points to that. I like the lighting. Side lighting looks pretty cool. And it's not murdering my frames. Well, it's obviously not dark in here, so I don't need the cab light. Let's see, we got our throttle. Obviously generator. Air pump. Doesn't really make any noise. Locomotive brake. Whistle short. Sounds pretty cool. Should be probably our train brake. First gear. I'm not a fan of the long loop for the reverse gear, but whatever. It doesn't look to physically function, unfortunately. Brakes. I assume that's supposed to be your sander. Don't get. Fire flap. Fire looks alright. Not great, but not necessarily important either. Air flap. the dampers, handbrake. Oh. Interesting. I don't know what I pressed, but it opened all the car doors and whatnot. So we're loading passengers. It's nice to see some people in the coaches for once. Seems a lot of the coaches lately haven't had people in them. They're a little creepy, but at least we got people. Let's see. Back to fiddling around. We don't get any of that. Yeah, it's kind of corny. Seems the shoveling sound doesn't want to shut off. Which, to do it by the keybind is usually using Shift R and R, or Control R and R. Obviously doesn't want to. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that though, that's kind of corny. Go ahead and release our brake, start opening our throttle up here. Whistle does have a few tunes. It's not a playable whistle for yourself. It is all done on its own. Oh. Doesn't sound that bad though. It's got an alright chuff sound, but it's definitely not a pro-line steam locomotive by any means. It is fairly simple. Not a whole lot going on with it. Probably going way too fast. I'm going downhill. These locomotives are rated for about 40 kilometers an hour. About 25-ish miles an hour. This is definitely one kind of meant to be run with the HUD, I think. You can run it without the hood, as you guys can see, but it doesn't run very well without the hood. The route itself, though, dang, looks really, really pretty. The route, I like the route. Just, you know, going off the scenery right now, it's actually really, really pretty. We even got people walking up our walking path here. And overall, It's very nice, but man alive, is that locomotive loud. I should not be able to hear it way over here. One is very loud, and what's sad is I didn't realize that was the cylinder cocks. So right there, our pressure relief valve just went off, but they made no noise at all. The cylinder cocks I can hear a long ways away. Not a fan of that. Physical motion is pretty nice, pretty decent. It's good, rolls smooth. The chuff sound is not half bad either. Definitely got a noticeable loop to it though. Let's see, do we have a passenger seat? Oh, we do. Yeah, see, you cut the throttle and it immediately loses all sound. Oh, we don't have a passenger here. Kind of odd. No idea what that was. That was different. There's also no steam from the whistle at all. And the B key plays another tune as well for the whistle. But there's definitely a bell on this locomotive, which is odd. Also really odd that the speed limit drops down to 20 just here and then goes right back up to 30. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It is a walking crossing. It's not a road crossing, but it's still kind of... You'll have to pay attention to that on the route, because I can see that screwing with a lot of people. So far, it's a very scenic route, though. Yeah, the sounds need work. They really do. I don't understand why the red is so bright either. But the headlights are like, yeah. They're kind of there. Pretty rare that I ever operate using the HUD. But yeah, the audio in this one is not great. Scenery-wise, though, it's a really, really pretty route. You know, unfortunately, we still use a lot of billboard trees. The, like, cardboard square. I don't know. Not a fan of the billboard trees. I think the billboard trees should have been trashed years ago. But, oh well. It being a mountain scenic route, you'll probably end up just riding your brake most of the way down. The proper way to run a steam locomotive, yeah. Is that how I'm going to do it? Absolutely. Yeah, the whistle itself doesn't sound that bad, but the like random audio cues and chuff cutouts are just, eh. Audio-wise, this is one that needed to bake for a little bit longer. I don't know why it's putting me into the siding there either. Well, I think we've run the locomotive. Let's go into the world editor now. Get a peek at the route itself. That way we can go fast across it. The road disappears. But as you can see, it's a very scenic route. It's very, very, very sparsely populated with trees. Or very densely populated, sorry. Very dense forest. And yet still we opted for billboard trees everywhere. Like even immediate trackside, like they tried to do something a little bit, and they did these crisscross billboard trees. Which, you know, A for effort. But the billboard tree thing needed to go away a long time ago. I get the use of billboard trees like out here. Out here it makes sense. You know, you're not out here. You're not getting close-ups, but right here next to the track, yeah. Billboard trees are kind of meh. But credit where it's due. It is still a very, very, very scenic route. It's very pretty. Oh, that looks awful. There it goes. Now it loads in. So it might take a second for scenery to load in. This would almost remind you, as far as the United States goes, this would almost remind you of American narrow gauge. Very tight corners, very steep grades. Very, very mountainous. Which is nice. I love mountain routes. Mountain routes do it for me. I love it. Our first little bridges here. And an interesting track design for the ties. Very different. And I mean, they're not the worst looking, but that right there looks terrible. Oh, the first bit of ambience. I just thought about that. There's really not a lot of ambience until we get here. There's some ambient sounds. So our first major stop right here. Wham bam. Shirk. You know, the the station areas actually look really, really good. And of course, we have our proper steam locomotive facility, so we'll have water coaling places along the line and whatnot, which is pretty cool. There is no freight. This is an entirely tourist operation. So no freight operations if you were looking for that. The building's kind of low res to be right next to the railroad here. For that to be your station building, it's pretty... eh. I mean, at least there was an effort. Credit where it's due. It's not just an old reused asset. But... it's very, very low res. It's very blocky. Just kind of eh. Well, there's other things like that actually don't look that bad. They're kind of nice little touches. So let's continue. Almost hard to follow the track doing this. It's so buried in the mountains, buried in the trees. Oops, there we go. Get up high enough and we'll be able to kind of get an idea on where we're going. We're coming up on our next station. I know that because here's that extra little bit of trackage here that goes off into the nether. So our next major station, Dry Island. Again, custom station building that flat billboard 2D texture over a blocky object. It doesn't look the worst. Again, same story, credit where it's due. At least it's not the same old garbage over and over again. But for a $30 route pack in 2024, that's kind of dated looking. That's some stuff one would expect out of some early trains. But, oh well. Station area doesn't look half bad. Big parking lot area. And we continue. So as you can see, the scenery stays much the same across a lot of the line. It doesn't wildly change, which I don't expect it to. I mean, it's a mountain route. It's not going to change a lot. That's really the entire point in narrow gauge railroads. Mountain lines. Mountain routes. A neat little industrial area almost, with a station stop. Kind of a flag stop. Doesn't look half bad. Kind of entertaining that they chose ducks quacking. There's no water around here. Yeah, there's some water. Have a little river right here. I guess that's what they're aiming for. Maybe they're trying for frogs. Don't know. Getting up towards some civilization. More populated areas. Well, they're kind of a flag stop station area. Don't do that. Bit of a siding. Almost looks like it was supposed to be an industrial siding or something. Like something for some goods. Maybe a storage track. a lot of blocky 2D texture buildings that, to be immediate trackside, just don't look great like that. Let's see this. This doesn't look too bad. And then there's that. And that doesn't look horrid. So what is that? Oh, normal track ties. Very sparsely populated area. Some street running here. A little bit of fun, some entertainment. Another little flag stop area. Oh my goodness, stop. Oh, this is kind of cool. If it doesn't ever shut off, I could see that getting very annoying. Major station, locomotive facilities, a little bit of a turntable right here that actually looks pretty cool. Next to a building that is, again, low res, flat textures. Servicing facilities, water. Should be told it should be the other end of the line. Western Aid. What? Wernage, yeah, we're almost at the end of the line. Big area though. Big rail yard area. Continues back here. Some more kind of shed storage area. Probably for cars, coaches, and whatnot. A little flag stop. It does kind of end abruptly back here though. As you can see, it's just kind of within noticeable view of your working area here. It just ends. The scenery and whatnot. And I think it needed to go back a little bit further. This is kind of a neat area. It's got some neat detail going on with it. Continue on up to here. And our final area. Our coaling area right here. Coaling up the locomotives. Another servicing facility area for our locomotives. Of course, train station, the end of the line. Thruway station, which once again the scenery kind of starts to get a little half-assed, a little too early. Like it needed, the scenery needed to be halfway decent up to probably about here for it to not be so wildly noticeable from your working area. But But yeah, it's pretty cool. Credit where it's due. It is pretty cool. We'll go ahead and start the scenario back up. So there it is, the latest and the greatest from released for Dovetail Games for Train Simulator Classic. Hey, hey, hooray! The Brockenbahn. We're going to call it Brockenbahn Scenic Railroad because I'm not going to bother butchering that anymore. But a new Steam Scenic Railroad. That's something that we really haven't seen outside of British routes. Heritage lines, as far as the United States goes, we've seen one singular heritage line. That was the Durango and Silverton. That was a long time ago. England gets a fair bit of heritage lines, but the rest of the world gets kind of overlooked. So for our first heritage line in a long time, it's not bad, but there's a lot of room for improvement. The sounds are not phenomenal. The buildings, texturing, a lot of low-res texturing. The buildings are just kind of a lot of flat squares with photo textures put on them that just do not look good. So it's cool, it's unique, and it's design-wise, it looks 10 years old. And to be perfectly honest, this would have looked perfectly normal in 2013, 2014. So, anywho, I didn't blow the whistle, but cool. Anywho, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's been a while since I got to do a route video, so hope you guys enjoyed it. Go check it out. It is available on the Steam store. You can pick it up, $29.99. It's gonna be pretty limited in use for those of you that like to do all kinds of weird, wacky things. This is pretty much all there is to it. Steam-powered tourist railway. So, if that's your thing, go check it out. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.